the road less traveled building highways. Building a highway might seem like just pouring concrete and paving roads, right? Well, it's much more complicated than that. I mean, you don't just grab a shovel and start digging. You gotta know what's underneath all that dirt, what's gonna happen when the weather turns sour, and how to keep things moving when you got 18-wheelers breathing down your neck. Today, we're diving into the top 5 challenges faced in highway construction and how these obstacles are tackled to keep the world moving. Stick around because you'll be surprised by some of the solutions. Let's get started. Mother Nature bats, last battling the elements. First up, we've got the unpredictability of weather. Rain, snow, extreme heat, and even strong winds can delay projects by days or even weeks. And believe me, time is money on a job site like this. Concrete needs time to dry. You can't just slap it down and hope for the best. It's got to cure properly. Asphalt needs a specific temperature range, otherwise it's like trying to spread cold butter on toast. Ain't gonna happen. And forget about using a crane in heavy winds. That's just asking for trouble. So how do construction teams deal with this? They plan around it. Monitoring forecasts like they're trying to predict the stock market, these guys know when a storm's brewing. And they build in weather-resistant phases. That means if they know rain's coming, they'll schedule tasks that can handle a little moisture. They adapt, they overcome, they get the job done, come hell or high water. Organized chaos, managing traffic flow. Next, managing traffic around active construction zones is no easy task. It's a delicate balance between keeping vehicles moving and ensuring the safety of both the workers and drivers. Imagine trying to thread a needle while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. That's what these guys are dealing with. You got concrete barriers, orange cones everywhere, and enough flashing lights to rival Times Square. But it's not just about throwing up some signs and hoping for the best. Smart detours, that's the name of the game. These guys map out alternate routes, sometimes miles in advance, to keep traffic flowing smoothly. And then there's the traffic management software. Now, this ain't your grandpappy's roadmap. This is high-tech stuff that monitors traffic patterns, adjusts signal timings, and even alerts drivers about congestion in real time. It's like having an air traffic controller for the highway. And of course, none of this would be possible without coordination with local authorities. Police officers, flaggers, and construction crews working together like a well-oiled machine to keep things moving. They're the unsung heroes of highway construction, making sure everyone gets home safe. Chapter 3. The ground beneath our wheels. Conquering geological obstacles. Now let's talk about one of the most complex issues, geological challenges. The land isn't always flat and predictable. You never know what you're gonna find under the surface until you start digging. Soil stability, rock formations, and even underground water systems can all throw a wrench in the works. Imagine hitting a vein of solid granite when you're trying to lay down a foundation. Or worse, uncovering an underground spring that turns your construction site into a swamp. These are the kinds of curveballs Mother Nature throws at you, and they can bring a project to a screeching halt. But fear not, because engineers are smarter than the average bear. They've got a whole arsenal of tools and techniques to tackle these challenges head-on. First up, ground-penetrating radar. It's like X-ray vision for the Earth, allowing them to see what lies beneath the surface before they even break ground. Then there are geotechnical surveys. This involves drilling boreholes, taking soil samples, and running all sorts of tests to determine the strength and stability of the ground. It's like giving the Earth a physical exam before you start surgery. Armed with this information, engineers can decide where to dig, where to stabilize the soil, and how to keep everything safe from natural shifts. They might use techniques like soil nailing, retaining walls, or even blasting to create a solid foundation for the highway. Chapter 4. Time is money. The balancing act of budgets and deadlines. Now let's talk about the bean counters, the number crunchers, the folks who keep a close eye on the bottom line. Sticking to the budget and meeting deadlines. That's always a challenge in any line of work, but especially in highway construction. Construction projects can easily run over budget due to unforeseen circumstances like material shortages or delays. It's like trying to bake a cake with only half the ingredients. You might be able to improvise, but it's going to cost you. Material prices fluctuate like the tide. Labor costs can rise unexpectedly. And then there's always the risk of something unforeseen popping up. Maybe a critical piece of equipment breaks down, or a shipment of steel gets delayed. To keep things on track, teams use project management software to optimize workflow and reduce waste. They track every penny spent, every hour worked, and every material used. It's all about efficiency, baby. But, in the end, flexibility is key. Building a highway is never a straight road when it comes to costs. There are always going to be bumps along the way, and sometimes you gotta be willing to adjust the plan and roll with the punches. Chapter 5. Treading lightly, minimizing environmental impact. Lastly, one of the biggest challenges is minimizing the environmental impact. Highways often cut through forests, wetlands, or habitats, so construction teams have to be very careful about how they handle the land. They're not just building a road, they're sharing the space with nature. Before a single bulldozer moves an inch of dirt, environmental assessments are conducted. Scientists and engineers study the area, identifying sensitive ecosystems, endangered species, and any potential risks to the environment. It's like getting a permission slip from Mother Nature before you start digging in her backyard. And once construction begins, sustainability practices are paramount. Contractors use erosion control measures to prevent soil runoff, implement strict waste management protocols, and even try to recycle and reuse materials whenever possible. They're like the eco-warriors of the construction world. Some projects even incorporate green technology to reduce their carbon footprint. Solar-powered lights, energy-efficient equipment, and even permeable pavements that allow rainwater to seep back into the ground. These are just a few examples of how highway construction is becoming more sustainable. As you can see, building a highway is no small feat. From battling the weather to navigating environmental concerns, there's a lot more happening behind the scenes than you might realize. And yet, every challenge is met with innovative solutions that keep the world moving forward. These men and women, the ones who build our roads and bridges, they're the unsung heroes of modern society. They brave the elements, work long hours, and face challenges most of us can't even imagine, all to keep us connected. So next time you're cruising down the highway, take a moment to appreciate the hard work and ingenuity that went into building that road. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insights into the world of construction and engineering. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.